Hi everyone, welcome to High Playing Games. It's Simon here, and we've got the latest career mode. Apologies, this is slightly a lot more F1 than we give normally. It's just, oh no, now the PlayStation app's going stupid. Okay, we won't have chat. I hate it when it does things like this. Anyway, so the idea around this is that basically, I'm going to just get rid of the app. So I won't be able to see what is going on, I don't think. Let me see if I can rejoin. Because this race is going to absolutely ruin my tyres, I didn't want to build this up to like a weekend ta-da, because I think this is going to be an absolute cluster, is what I was going to say. It won't refresh. That's so annoying. I hate it when it does things like that. I'll see if I can join the YouTube app and watch the chat from there if anyone's going to chat. But yeah, the whole thing with this is that because I'm quite aggressive with my tyres and because I drive with a controller, there are certain tracks in this game that just ruin your tyres, and this is one of them. Singapore was another one. We was able to kind of sort it out in China. Not China. What's a majig? Japan. Last time out, we was able to keep it and still get going and finish 7th, which was great. I'm not so sure here will be the same issue. A, because I don't have as good a setup. B, all 3 tyre compounds are ruined within about 2 to 3 laps. So it doesn't matter what I do, it just gets ruined and ruined. Hello NC Gamer Boy, hope you're well. That's a very Australian entrance with all of those good days. So yeah, I expect this to be an absolute horrific show, which was why I was like, get it out of the way. The other thing is we've got a 57% gearbox, so I thought, well, let's see if we can have a gear failure whilst we're playing as well. At least kind of liven it up a little bit. Hamilton and Ricciardo, I didn't get through into Q3. I got knocked out in Q2. I was 11th on the grid. Grosjean got me at the last second. It was Hamilton and Ricciardo have qualified on super softs. Everyone else will be on ultras. Any new games I picked up? I've picked up Kingdom Hearts 3. I've also picked up Grip, which is a racing game, if we're staying on races, which I'm super looking forward to diving into as well on PS4. Both of those.
We're almost ready to go there.
Let's see what the grid's like.
Starting grid looks like for today's
Quick swig of cola
Lewis
before I
Hamilton
start.
lines up on pole position, and Valtteri
So he's on
Bottas
super
will line up
softs.
alongside. Looking down
Ultras,
the rest of the grid,
ultras.
Vettel, Verstappen, Nico Hulkenberg, and Grosjean.
That Renault
Smith,
looks fast. Oh,
Raikkonen,
hello.
Ocon, and Charles Leclerc, Ericsson, Hartley, Kevin Magnussen, and Gasly, Ricciardo, Sainz. They've taken a grid penalty. Sergio Perez
They have.
and Lance Stroll, Van Dorn, and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid.
Well, that was a weird
time
grid.
to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Oh, it's nice to actually see what the delay is. I've got the actual video
You
going
can break late into one because of the incline.
on
It's a slow
144p.
corner though, so make sure you stay out of trouble.
So
Good
hopefully
luck.
the app won't decide to turn itself off like it normally does. Oh, underfueled. Must I? So yeah, I'm super excited to finally have Kingdom Hearts 3 as an RPG man. I'm almost thinking let's go softs. Because it's not the wear that's the problem, it's the tyre temperatures. So I don't want to... Right, let's change that to ultras, that can go supers. Well, do you know what? Let's do What's the biggest R&D reset you've seen? This is my first season, so in this specific game, so it's reset almost all of the engine stuff, which is quite interesting. Again, I don't want to do the ultras first. I want to do the supers first. Because I want to see. This is going to be the most screwed up strategy ever. So the plan for me, let's put that on ultras. We'll see how we get on with the super softs. If I think it's going to go cack-handed, we'll switch to the softs. Is the plan. This is going to be horrific, I can tell. Did that click? Yes, that did click. Sorry, it's just the tyres hadn't updated on my car, but they will have now. Thank you.
Right, let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
Oh, I will. What else have I bought actually? Wonder Song I bought on the PS4 as well. I've got given a code for a visual novel called Arcade Spirits from P-Cube. So that'll be reviewed hopefully this weekend. And a couple of other developers have been in touch to talk about reviews and stuff, so hopefully I'll have some game reviews out this weekend. But in general, what I'm going to be doing is...
No rain expected. No rain expected for the time being.
Probably pushing more in terms of game reviews, because they seem to be... Oh, you twit. Did that actually hurt my car? I don't think it did. I was too busy looking at the chat. I've seen one on YouTube that's had a complete reset. Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's quite cool. Can I skip the formation lap? Great. Let's not keep us all waiting for... Right. Note to Simon, stop reading the chat. Oh, that's quite a chunky under... Oh dear. Ah, fucking hell. Let's do a restart of that. Take two. This race is going to be a clusterfuck enough without me having to... Ah, again! Oh, shit. And again.
You've got front wing damage. Recommend
Oh,
you
this
hold
car handles like a moose. Right, again. I'm so sorry. If this means I have to just dive out of it, I don't mind. Ooh, that was a terrible start. Ericsson. I better get a penalty for that.
Illegal maneuver. Cede that position or we'll receive a penalty.
Okay, right, we're off. Hurrah, after all that. Let's try and get Leclerc while the action is good.
Start was okay. Now stay alert for threats around you.
Oh. Nice. I'm going to say, I heard the collision, I didn't feel it though. This looks interesting between Hulkenberg and Raikkonen. So, I'm not terribly fast around this circuit, as you'll be seeing. I'm okay, but whatever I do, I just cannot keep tyres in a remotely respectable temperature. So we'll have about 3 or 4 laps of not looking terrible, then we'll just start looking terrible. So I'm going to try and like coax it round for as long as possible. In the same way how in Spain it was faster to go slower, this is very similar, I think, but even worse. Ooh. Although it would help if I could drive. Sorry, Charles. I think he's now going to ruin me. I preferred my other setup, so I had 2 setups with 2 different wings. One was a 6.6, one was a 7.7, and I felt more comfortable with the 7.7, but I was just being caught hand and fist down the straights, even in practice, and I was like, this is just not going to work for me. And the time difference between the two was kind of negligible, so...
Has been enabled.
Good. Alright, so it's this.
Increase ERS deployment to overtake mode.
So it's interesting just how slow the AI are taking it round that section as well. Ooh, dares. Don't mind if I do. No. So I can already feel that the car is starting to fall off. In terms of tyres and temperatures. Yeah, yellow.
There is a fault. DRS, you won't be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out.
Goodness sake. Just because this is going better than planned. I wonder if that's why we're underfueled for this, because you're not able to take corners that you should be able to.
Use overtake. Use overtake.
Might have more of a chance if I had DRS. Yeah, because you're underfueled, because you spend so much of this lap instead of where you are in qualifying being above on full throttle, you're not here, you're coasting. Really, Simon? Overtake, come on. Can't let Leclerc catch us because we'll be dead in the water. Stoffel, you're 18th. Stop it.
To leader, 9.6 seconds.
Full race update.
You're in ninth position. Ocon ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 1.7 seconds. They're on fresh ultra softs. Leclerc behind. The gap behind us is 2.5 seconds. They're on fresh ultra softs. Our gap to first place is 9.6 seconds. Your pit window opens in 9 laps time. 50 laps to go.
Okay. doing that. 107. I was going to say, this is starting to feel really rubbery already. We're going to be Leclerc. Hey Roy! How are you doing, good sir? Just you to tune in when I'm having a race where I can't control tyre temperatures and I'm going to go backwards like an absolute drunken fish. But I hope you're well. Happy New Year, I don't think we've talked all yet. Oh shit. Too busy looking at the chat room. I know how to pick the right races, yes you do. Enjoy a good backwards pedal. Thankfully it looks like Marcus Ericsson is the guy in 11th place holding up the entire field behind him. Which is just wonderful.
Car in front is 4.3 seconds.
No, Charles. That, or is this race being run at the time of day when I'm actually home and awake? Well, that could also be a problem. Okay, you can go to the outside. I will try and fend you off. Ha! Dum dum. Nope. That's not the way to do that corner, Simon. Although to be fair, most F1 teams are also doing the same thing.
You're coming up to one of the Force Indias.
That was not a good move. Okay, this car is starting to get really, really rubbery now. Well, slidey and unresponsive. I think Mr. Leclerc will be through in no time. Uh-oh. So, unlike Suzuka, where the tyres were ridiculous and I could keep it on the road, I don't seem to be able to do so here. Oh wow, that'll be why. I don't think there's anything much I can do with you, Charles, I'm afraid. Ooh, crumbs. So this whole... Apparently there's a few tracks where if you're on a controller it's just not able to really like be kind. And I didn't want to turn off the thermal tyre wear stuff because then it loses a layer of simulation, which I appreciate as someone who is driving on a controller. You're all going to be like, what? Schmiffles. But, oh shit, we've done the DRS. Is that going to close? Yes. Phew. Because that was broke earlier. I'd forgot. Sometimes if you repress it back open again, it goes, nope. Again. So yeah, I've struggled here, France, Monaco, Spain I could handle, because if you didn't push around the corners you could actually reduce it.
22.7 seconds.
But Monaco and Singapore in particular, and to some extent France, but a little bit less, you just couldn't do anything, and so you'd be sliding around because it's all 90-degree push start stop corners, but you couldn't get the tyre temperatures down, because if you did you was going to be about 10 seconds off the pace, and even then your tyre temperatures were still horrific. So to try and combat that, if anyone does drive on this game with a controller, put down your tyre pressures down to the minimal amount possible. And that means that the tyre temperatures take longer to boil, essentially. Which is what I've done here, and what I did do in Japan, which was why we was able to finish 7th. But I don't think here it's going to help us particularly. Because once Ricciardo and Sainz catch us back up again, they'll all be through. Ooh, that'll out just ahead of Leclerc. An interesting little squabble. Fastest lap, Kevin Magnussen. You what? To be fair though, that Haas was looking fast earlier in... Both got through into Q3, it's just that K-Mag had to take some grid drops. I wonder if the ultra soft tyres are now starting to run into trouble because I'm catching them a little bit. I also think I'm probably a bit harsher on my tyres because I do use engine braking because I'm not as what's the word? Precise as a lot of other people.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the super softs.
Okay. Extreme corner cut. I was trying to see who was taking over Ericsson, but it was Mr. Grosjean who has pitted, and that is not going to work for us. There we go, there's our comeuppance.
The gap to the car ahead is 8.5 seconds.
Oh, Sainz is through there as well by the looks of it. No. Oh, what a move! Well done, Roma. Utterly ruining my race there. Oh, it's Hulkenberg, not Sainz, so he's pitted as well, obviously. Very different line through that corner compared to the AI groove. And the groove that's on the road, anyway. Ah, through you go. Clearly I brake later for that corner. Kitty cat reactions. God, when can I pit?
We're boxing this lap. Give us the best in lap you can.
Oh! That was just bullying me, Mr. Hulkenberg. Oh, hey, James. There's no point even trying to battle that one.
Don't forget, box this lap.
Oh, this is horrible. There's nothing worse than feeling like you can't push at all and that the car just feels like it's skidding around on soap.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Oh, sorry, Sergio. He's managed to make his ultras last as long as my supers.
Go. Exit now. We're racing on the exit. Okay, 2 stops left now. 2 stops.
Oh, Ericsson's beat us. Full race update.
We're sat in 16th. Ericsson is ahead of you. Our gap to the car in front is 1.7 seconds. They're on fresh ultra softs. Perez behind. The gap to the car behind is 1.1 seconds. They're on fresh ultra softs. Your pit window opens in 15 laps time. 40 laps to go now. Stoffels in the pits.
We've got to beat Stoffel, come on. He was clearly also having an absolute shocker of a race. I know he had grid penalties and that dropped him to 18th from the grid, but he's still 18th now. And yes, I know I started 7th. Don't judge me. Too much. Oh, hang on, we're 15th. Someone's out? Oh no, it's because Stoffel pitted. Oh, the car feels really good when it's like this. And then it all goes to shit after about 4 laps.
is 3.1 seconds.
Who's next? Gasly. Whew. Nope. Mom! Okay. Has anyone had any snow in the UK, by the way? If any UK people are in, I can't remember where. Or in Europe, actually. I don't know if you've got snow where you are, Roy. We're on snow watch in the UK. I was going to order myself a takeaway this evening, and hardly anyone was wanting to deliver because it's trying to sleet, but it's not settling or anything. Ah! God, that's without DRS as well. It's quite scary. Hartley or Ricardo? Ricardo, okay.
Gap to car in front is 2.5 seconds.
Okay, now we're in the doo-doo. Yep, snow in West Bromwich. Ah, oh hey John. Hope you're well. Oh, okay. I thought it might be a bit snowy where you were.
Just so you know, we're getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors. I don't think you need to be worried. It's just some bad data, so keep doing what you're doing, and I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems.
Okay, Jeff. Oh, that's not how you take that corner, Simon. Next. I like the way how literally all the people whose names I know pop out for a stream where I know I'm going to be driving like absolute dog's mess. Never mind. But there's this. Mexico I'm not too bad at. I'm not great at. I'm good at Brazil. I don't think I'm too bad at Abu Dhabi. So, just 3 more races after this one to go. Then I can't wait to see what the show cup is for the new season. And then I'll probably do what I done last time, which is where season 2 will be like 25% races, just to keep us amused whilst we're waiting for the off-season. Ooh, that looks juicy. I think Perez might have you, Ericsson. Indeed he does. But I'm quite keen to start sticking other types of games or other games onto this channel. So whilst there'll still be racing stuff, well, I might also just move away from F1 2018 and start playing with something else racy wise instead that isn't All Stars Fruit Racing.
The gap to the car ahead is 3.3 seconds.
Gasly plus. Although he's ultra softing. Perez will have us here, surely. Driver in front.
Gasly ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 3.3 seconds. You're gaining by 1/10 a lap. They're on old ultra softs.
Nice.
The time last lap was a 1 minute 40.3.
What am I supposed to do with that? So yeah, if you do have any racing game requests, do let me know. I do seem to buy a lot of racing games, so it's quite likely that I'll have it to hand somewhere. Also, interestingly, I've just re-downloaded Race Room on PC. And I was looking at all of the different tracks and mods that you can buy on that, because I know it's free to play as like a base. But I do generally quite like what Riser Studios do. Oh, hello Daniel Ricciardo. How on earth has it taken you that long to get to 14th? What will now be 13th, I think, in a minute. Oh, maybe not. My own shitness may have just helped me. Oh! Don't turn in on me, Danny.
Okay, gap ahead is 1.9 seconds.
Racing Room games I've spent the most amount of time over the last few years. Very nice game. Yeah, I played a couple of online races with it. It's to try and get me back into sim racing again, essentially, but I don't necessarily want to join like a heavy league. So it's quite nice to just be like mucking about. Back in my old R Factor 1 days when I used to play in the USAR online servers, and just because you didn't like crash into everyone and just kind of like skated round, you'd still always finish in the top 10. I used to quite like that, so it's to try and get me back into that again. and to wet my whistle to get back into perhaps some sim race commentary properly and maybe do a little bit of teamwork or something like that. So we'll see. But yeah, I'd quite like to do some videos of race room. Go on, 1-2 Stoffel. Oh, shit. I have no idea what was going on there with my gears. Talking of other stuff I've been up to though, I've done my first voiceover for... Oh! Danny Rick, you bitch! I've done my first voiceover for a video for the YouTube channel Circuits of the Past. No, this is not going to work. Which was good fun. It's showing people around a piece of the an old version of Monza. So that's the start of a nice new gig. The video hasn't been released yet. I sent over the video clip at the weekend, so... I was going to say Stoffel, through you go, but... Oh shit, not K-Mags as well. Ah! Protect the team! Yeah, it was an interesting experience because it's just literally I get sent a text file written in broken English for me to try and work out what I'm supposed to be saying. Which that sounds awful. I'm impressed that anyone has a second language that they can write, let alone or speak, let alone write. Sorry. Fine, K-Mag, through you go. So yeah, super interesting. But yeah, so I got sent a Word document, so I rewrote it into English sentences. But the guy that does most of the stuff, he didn't actually film that part, so I've essentially done my first draft of it going, here's Herman showing you, blah 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 blah. And it wasn't Herman showing us anything, so I had to quickly redo it on Saturday. But by all accounts, he's quite happy with it.
The car behind has come in to put on the ultra soft tyre. That's the car behind, now on the ultra softs.
So assuming everything is well, we'll be able to enjoy my voiceover there on Circuits of the Past. But yeah, I'm sure if Race Department wants my services for the Endurance Cup, I'll have had my new PC upgraded and running by then, so I'll actually be able to see what the bloody hell is going on track. And I'll be able to actually help. It's been a problem is that I keep buying computer games and forgetting to actually upgrade my PC. And it is woefully out of date now and needs some love.
Gap to car in front is 2.1 seconds.
Nice move. What other awesome things have I got planned at the moment? There's quite a few things. So I've put in an order for something by Pound Technology, which is a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 like upscaler adapter thing. So it's to try and help me be able to... Ah, for fuck's sake. Why did you come back across? You had that.
Be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage.
I know. Oh, I can feel it as well. Yeah, so this adapter should be able to upscale PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games slightly to... I think it's 540p as opposed to 720. But it's better than the like 480, 320 that they came in before, so I'm super looking forward to that. And also looking into ways to try and get off the ground a really, really lo-fi kind of media-y type company to be able to do like proper productions of things that interest me at least. I think we're going to box next lap round. This wing is really killing the tyres. And my lap time.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the ultra softs.
Soft tyres.
Roger that. Soft tyres at the next pit stop.
I don't want the ultras. They won't last. I will read that long comment in a second, Roy. I'm eagerly rating a new series of endurance racing myself, but it seems to be some time before we'll kick something off. That's good, because then it means that I'll be ready and I'll have a PC that works. Let's play you all off against each other. Nice. Box this lap.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
I want this ring repaired, it's awful. Oh, Ericsson, I'm so sorry. Although he'll get out ahead of me. What else was interesting? Yeah, so the reason why I'm looking at trying to get some kind of media-y type company off the ground to help me out with stuff is that...
okay, stay clear of the white line
wow.
on the exit. Receive a penalty for dangerous driving.
Are we going to be last? Yeah, we are. We're only ahead of Sorokin. Christ. Second last then, that's not so bad. So yeah, so what was I trying to say? Get up to speed, Simon. So I received from YouTube last weekend my very first ever copyright strike. And it's from a video that I uploaded initially with permission from a company in 2013. So I had a video about Rosetta Stone and their Japanese learning like DVD kit thing, and the whole point of it was to basically show people how it worked and to walk them through one of the lessons. And then it went out to a text review and a review on Amazon. It was Amazon through which I'd been given this thing to review. So I was like, right, well, didn't think anything of it. 6 years later, Rosetta Stone come and say that they don't want anything to do with me. Well, not to do with me, but they don't want anything to do with that video. And have banned it and taken it down, and that then means that my channel is slightly restricted until April. And it's because they're funny over what they say I have or haven't got review rights over. But if you give me a product to review but then don't stipulate how I can or can't actually review that product, then how am I supposed to know and not think anything of it until 6 years later? And it's another one where creators are bad and advertisers and stuff are good. And I get it, but it's super annoying all at the same time. Yes, I'm kind of sitting and thinking, how do I try and pull myself away from the need of having to basically rely on other companies, because all it takes now is for 2 other people during now and April to say, we don't like your review because it's posted negative comments about it, so therefore we're now going to say that you're terrible. And whilst I have emails and stuff being very specific over what I say should or shouldn't be put in a copyright review, because most emails that I have from people, sorry I'm rambling now, but most emails that I have from companies are all about, don't talk about our product until X date, or don't review this game until X date, or review this album until like 2 days after release because we've given the premiere rights to this album or this track to this website. No one then stipulates that actually you can only do a video review or you can only do a text review. It's utter bollocks. But the way how YouTube works is that if I want to take this up, I'm basically guilty unless I'm prepared to take Rosetta Stone to court to prove my innocence. I don't have that kind of money. And I'm not going to enter a court in an American jurisdiction being a British person. It's just... ah. So it's kind of made me think, right, well, how can I make media but stipulate the rules that I want to work by and therefore work with my other companies by? Because in the 11 years that I've ran websites and channels, I've never had an issue before. But when I've needed the help, no one's prepared to help me. And I've even had discussions with Rosetta Stone and their copyright claims team, and they just, after a while, just decided to not reply. I'm sorry. Okay, we got through. Stroll's doing all right in the Williams somehow. So yeah, I'm going to be extremely coy about how I transact with companies again in the future, and if that means that I need to have out in some kind of clause or contract, this is what I definitely can do and this is what I definitely can't do, and you can't revoke that because you don't like what I have to say, which is what I think the crux of this issue is, personally, as I was only lukewarm on the product. But there we go. Anyway, rant over. Sorry, that took forever. It's a poor way of conducting business in my ears. Too bad YouTube sides with... Yes. I can understand why YouTube sides with business and creators, though, apart from it being like a big business. Because of how rife... Like, all you have to do is go on Reddit. What more do you need? So it's an interesting kind of issue that they have, but it's also made me think about so you might have been getting these adverts coming up from YouTube talking about Article 13 and how it's going to change copyright and how things are done on the internet, and to a large extent, yes, they are correct, but the issue why they're getting worried is that at the moment, with the way how YouTube is set up, it pushes all of the onus away from YouTube to ever have to solve a copyright problem or be pulled into it. So where things like trying to think of an example, so someone uploads a certain portion of the film for fair use for a review, they then don't get involved and let the copyright person basically claim the copyright on the video, and then the creator has to try and take them to court to prove a fair use claim, settle it externally via emails, which is what I was trying to do with Rosetta Stone, because I don't have the time or the botherance to take it to court over a video that had 12,000 views. Or you just say as a creator, how very dare I have tried to have done that for fair use, ba-ba. So yeah, it's a awkward one, but this Article 13 basically pushes responsibility back onto YouTube for them to start to have solutions about actually how copyright claiming and stuff works on the internet. So they have in beta at the moment an idea, because one of the big things for me is not necessarily the game's content that's a problem, but it's all the soundtracks. So the vast selection, I'd say about 1 in 3 videos, but I don't have it to hand to say for sure. 1 of 3 of my videos, although I monetize all of my videos, thanks Jeff, 1 in 3 I get nothing from, because they're all monetized by the people who claim that they own the soundtrack. And so one of the things that YouTube is planning to do is to basically say, for this percentage of the video, you don't own that content, so therefore that person can claim X% of the revenue, which in principle sounds quite nice. But then if you're playing a game and a soundtrack is going throughout, then they just say, oh, well, I own 100% of that video because I own the soundtrack that's playing in the background. But then if you play the game with the soundtrack off, are you really showing the game's full experience? Why am I being forced into that and I can't show a true representation of the product as a reviewer? The second issue
Our
of
gap to the
that,
car in front is 15.
I'm on a rant now, I do apologise. But the second issue with it is that when you basically their copyright content claims are open so that businesses can. It's stilted so that businesses can claim the revenue, and the creator is always guilty until proven innocent, not innocent until proven guilty. And that makes it open for loads and loads of companies to abuse. So I have some videos where some person in China or Africa or like a made-up company, but they look like those types of names, have said that a wind effect in a game is theirs, and that they've copyrighted a wind effect, which to me sounds really awkward anyway, because surely it would be a wind effect that a games designer would have bought, or that a game has bought for fair use / use in their game. They then get their revenue for immediately on the video. I can then argue it back.
That's the super soft on the car behind.
Thanks, Jeff. I can argue it behind and say, well, sorry, I lost my train of thread. Yeah, sorry. I can argue it and say, actually, I've been given permission to use this content because I've been sent the game to review, and they've said that I can review this game in its entirety, including its soundtrack. That creator gets to keep the monetization that's been owned for 30 days, whilst they can then go, yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. And if they say, yes, I agree, you have been given that, you don't get any like back payments or anything like that. But what often quite happens, and this is what happened when 2 of my Formula 1 videos got claimed by Formula 1 management. And it was me and Ben doing Failcast. And they said that we was using real footage from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix from F1 2017. And I'm going to say the Canadian Grand Prix from F1 2017 as well. Or F1 2018. God knows how. But that was what they decided.
Okay, gap ahead is 17.8 seconds.
Oh, you're going to dive through, aren't you? Let me go running outside. Yes! This soft tyre is so much better. I don't think I'll need to pit again. Yeah, so whilst you're having the argument, they get all the money, and then they don't care about the battle anyway, because half the time it's a fraudulent company or a company that you really can't understand. Or it's the company that has sold the rights for someone to use something copyright free and is then going around and monetizing the videos. Oh, signs! Did you see that? Sorry, I'm going to do a replay. Who pushed me into Carlos? What's he doing that for? He's gone to Jink to try and get round Gasly. The AI hasn't noticed I'm there. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not having that. Back we go. Oh, I'm not having that either. No, Carlos. Touring car, yes. Oh, talking of touring cars, I just bought a few really I've just bought the BTCC reviews off of Duke Media's website, which I'm super excited to get into. They had a sale in January. Okay, let's see what we can do with Gasly. Can we do anything with him? Or is that just too fast? So yeah, I find the whole creator guilty until proven innocent really, really frustrating. I get it why, but it's made me really lose faith in the platform as a whole, because it's clear that it doesn't want to solve the problem, and however it does solve the problem is always going to end up making it very, very difficult unless you 100% own and have the rights to all of the content. So it means that gaming content, movie content, cover songs, all of that kind of stuff become really, really tricky, because so long as YouTube refuses to intervene and put up proper standards to protect both creators and the original copyright holders, then it will never, ever, ever be a satisfactory platform to work on. So that's an exceptionally long story, but it's why I'm looking into just how much money does it cost to have what's called a white label social media platform, so devoid of all branding, lets me run my own content, that kind of stuff. And elsewhere on the web, I'm in the middle of setting up like an online radio station, which will be quite good fun. And I think that will teach me a little bit about how this kind of building up a media company from scratch works. Ooh. Nice corner cutting, Simon. Oh, yeah.
Blue flag.
Oh, is this the blue flag that no one else has to adhere to except for me? How was not for the dares? Taking the U out of YouTube, I guess. Yes, indeed. Oh, Christ, Simon. I'm so sorry for some of the cutting that's gone on this evening. It's because the car is just so floaty because of the tyre temperatures. It makes it so difficult to drive. I'll read your comment in a second, James. And what would this radio station be like? What format would it take? Talk or music? It's going to be music. So I run a... Oh, Christ. That took me by surprise. No, Gasly. We'll come back for you, good sir. So this radio station would be
Try to stay with him, he might make a mistake.
music-based, although there will be interviews. I run a website called Higher Plane Music, which is all about finding and discovering small independent musicians, generally music that I like, which is rock, alternate pop, arty pop, some classical stuff, computer game music. And I've ran that website for over 10 years. It's got a very small cult following, But I'd quite like to be able to run a radio station, but it's just, you know, when it's like one of those weird things where you're just like, on my bucket list I'd like to say I've ran a radio station. It's always been on my bucket list. But running either a proper 24-hour TV/media station or some kind of like digital media station that lets me... What can we do? Hang on, let me see if I can claw this back. Yes! Oh, no, 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 no. Don't forget to brake, Smithy. So excited. To have something where people could maybe choose stuff on demand would be quite interesting. Oh, we've really lost the tyres now. We're going to have to do like a call lap to get them back, I think. Looks like a juicy battle for second.
Blue flag conditions. Create a gap and let the car behind through.
Sorry, the car didn't turn at all. Oh, there.
Okay, this is Jeff. I need you to stop cutting the corners. If you keep it up, the stewards will award you a penalty. When he goes through, try to use it as an opportunity to gain a position.
Oh, I've not heard Jeff say that before.
The gap to the car ahead is 3.9 seconds.
Oh, someone's retired. Who's out? Oh, someone in front of us. Oh, it's Stoffel. Aw, dude. There he is. Oh, poor Woffs. Alright, this is Jeff. Who else would it be? I've never heard anyone else but Jeff on this. That's true.
Stoffel is out of the race.
No shit. Not a bright one, is this, Jeff? No. He is not at all. I also don't think we was within a second there of Max, but I'll take the Durs anyway. Whoa, that wasn't very good. It's going to ruin us all the way down the straight. Well done, Simon. No, Carlos. I've already had to let Gasly go. I'm not letting you through as well. Not without a fight. So yeah, so those are my kind of future plans. So this year, my kind of big expenses are going to be upgrading my PC so that I can start to have proper processing power to be able to edit stuff properly, but also then I don't know, potentially offer some kind of like proper streaming service to some mini leagues or something, or like run some little league sim races, special one-off events. I want to launch my radio station. I've got my own album to finish, which was supposed to have happened last year, but I've not really got round to it. And I want to invest in decent enough camera equipment, or at least a setup that means that I can then basically take my camera on the road with me, because I'd ideally like to get out to a convention or two for games / motoring, or motorsport rather, and start looking at how I can make proper programs. It's been very fortunate and slightly spoiled in that my day job at work for a while revolved around doing quite good high-end media stuff. I'm going to go underneath your under.
You've lost access to one of the gears. You've lost one of the gears due to the fault.
Ah, shit. Which gear? Ooh. Oh. That was a bit stupid of me, wasn't it? Never mind. We will go down fighting.
Okay, bad news on the gearbox. The team are trying everything they can think of, but they're not optimistic. Just keep at it, do your best. That's all we can ask.
I'm on it, Jeff. So, no fourth gear. Oh! Ha Careful! Oh, it's really difficult. Why don't we lose first gear? I don't think we're going to be keeping Carlos behind for very much longer. Oh, we've got fourth back.
Blue flag. We're not racing the car behind. Let them past when you can.
We are.
Okay, gap ahead is 8.8 seconds.
We might see a change of position. Oh, no, we won't. See you, right. Thanks for joining, mate. I'll catch you soon. We'll have to do some Scandinavian and Smithy versus Scandies. And get that on the channel. I know we said we'd do it last year, but we'll have to do it this year. Go on, Bottas. Show us you've got some testicles. Even if it is in-game. Full race update.
14th position. You're in 14th position. Gasly is ahead of you. Gap to car in front is 10.8 seconds. They're on old super softs. Signs behind. Our gap behind is 1.3 seconds. They're on old super softs. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. 6 laps to go.
Beautiful in terms of actual wear. Because we're driving so far within the limit. 71% gearbox as well. Interesting. Ah, Vettel's got ahead.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
Oh, Bottas. That's the other thing. As much as I love a good lighting effect, there's too much of this game where the sun seems like it's purposely doing some glare so that you can't actually see where the corner is. Okay. For this one.
The gap to the car ahead is 12.0 seconds. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Alright. Oh, how McLaren would have loved to have been beating a Renault in real life. Well, to be fair, we're 14th and 15th. This has been miserable for both of us. Okay, couple of laps to go. Well, actually, no, this should be the last lap, isn't it? Because we're a lap down.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Go, 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 go! Ooh, someone else had just conked out at the last second as well. Who's that that's out?
Okay, clear.
Oh, Ericsson. Oh, on the last lap. Poor guy. Oh. Well, we made
That's
it.
the end of the race. We'll see
It
you
wasn't
in
pretty,
half
but we made it. Tyre temperatures ruined, well, ruled that race, didn't it? That's the same.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today.
Toto looking surprisingly younger than he
Anthony
does.
Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs. And that's
Really?
allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Thanks for that,
And here
Anthony.
are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here.
3 different constructors on the podium.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson,
Is
who
it
was your
Ricciardo?
driver of the day?
I think I'm going to give it to Daniel Ricciardo. He's come through the field so well today, you know. Well deserved.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
So, Sorokin looked well off the pace the entire way through. Van Dorn and Ericsson retired. Stroll beat Hartley, though, interestingly. We beat Sainz just. But actually, when you look at best lap times, I know we was on different tyre strategies. We never got onto the ultra softs, which would have given us, what, 6 tenths perhaps? We didn't really have the pace either, which kind of chimes at me qualifying 11th. Gasly, Leclerc, Perez missed out, probably because we held him up. Double points for Haas. I'll tell you what, Magnussen did well then to recover back to 9th from where he was. Ocon doing well, Hulkenberg. Ricciardo got back up to 6th. Brotas. Yeah, we were the only ones on softs. Corner cutting. Whoops. So yeah, just 2 mechanical failures. Perez. And I wonder if that's why Sorokin was... No, because that's on the last lap again. There's always collisions on the last lap in this game. So Vettel's championship is being cut down very quickly by Hamilton. It must be said, that's looking like it could be his grandstand final race finish. Verstappen gets ahead of us in the championship, though. That's annoying. Hulk still best of the rest. No other changes throughout. And in the constructors, Renault are closing us down. Dear oh me, Stoffel, you could at least start scoring something, mate. Let's move on and see if that evil discount Lee Mackenzie has anything to say. Ugh.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy.
What?
That was a close finish. How are things between the two of you?
Things are great.
You had a few bumps and scrapes today. Who would you say is at fault?
I had the line.
Appreciate your time.
I don't want to move to Sauber. This whole thing is to try and make McLaren top again. Although I do wonder what she thinks was so amazing about that performance. Oh, he's got a faster lap than Carlos. Okay. Helpful. What have we got here? Ah, so we get the team goal as well. That's handy. Ooh, everyone's rep decreases a smidge. Tusk tusk.
What on earth was that performance?
Oh, shut
Come
up,
on.
Emma.
This isn't bumper cars at the fairground. Your results and conduct here matter, so pay more attention. We can't afford too many races like that.
Oh, shut up.
You hit your last team goal. Well done. That should get the team a nice boost to their development, and it won't hurt when it comes to your next contract review either.
Oh, she's everything I hate about business people. Ugh. Plus, clearly, a little bit schizophrenic. The moose. Right, let's take a look at the resource points before we sign ourselves off. So we have two things that we need to improve. So the first thing that I'm going to go for is adapt that part there for the spark plugs. So why are we so terrible in terms of powertrain then? Because clearly unless they just had a real different way of looking at things. So that's minus 10%. I almost feel like I should go for the big chunky upgrade because it's minus 10% and therefore makes more sense in terms of money. It's 1400, that's 700. Yeah, let's do it. Because that is a massive improvement. And I'm purposely leaving this undone so that I can get the trophy for it. So, such skankiness, isn't it? Right, cool. Let's dive on to the next weekend. See how many of our parts have failed. And go from there. I love the Mexico circuit, but I'm not very fast there. So that's an advance warning for next round when we do that. Which will probably be either at the end of this week or the start of next. So I'm not about this weekend.
Okay, we had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
Good. Nothing's broken. Score 24 Drivers' Championship points in 3 rounds. Oh, okay. I think I could do that. Potentially. It'll all be in Abu Dhabi and Brazil, but we'll get there. Okay. So we improved a little bit. Renault improved a lot. Toro Rosso improved a lot. And Ferrari did too. Fair enough. Cool. Right, well, thank you very much for watching. Anyone that did pop along, always very, very welcome. If you have any other racing games that you'd like to see on the channel, please do let me know, because it's currently this, All-Star Fruit Racing, a little bit of Nippon and Japan, and a few bits of Gran Turismo here and there. Yeah, take care. Bye. Thanks, John. Oh, my good job that did finish. My controller was just about to give up on battery. Uh-oh.